have Kimberly. She's going to speak about what are your values.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Enjoy the ride. What a great song. I picked out the other two songs to tie in with my talk, and that is just serendipity how that worked out with my talk. It was beautiful. My topic today is what do we value? What do we value as a society, as individuals? Oh yeah, thank you. The Course of Miracles workshop lesson 133 states, do not value the valueless. Right now, this moment, this present is something to value. This precious time together. I would like to share some of the things I value. A couple little things I brought. This little book that was my late dad's, and it's a Thomas Jefferson Bible, very rare. This is called Rugged Cross, Precious Moments. I gave one to my mom, and she's now in a nursing home, so she doesn't have hers, but I still kept mine. This is Living in the Now. This is, there's a story in here about my late brother, Chucky, and he wrote some special words, and that's another whole topic and story that I'll share with you one of these days. So this is very precious. This is the first actual, well, one of the first, well, this is the first award I got for a short story inspirational, because I'm a poet more than a writer, I thought at the time, but I actually do both, so it's special. And of course, my children are everything to me, and my family, my grandchildren. And there's 4 boys and 1 girl. And how I came to choose this topic is it actually chose me. I would like to dedicate this talk to my son Jeremy. And this is my son Jeremy. For a year and a half, he's been battling cancer. And when he first told me less than a month ago that it came back, I literally cried for 4 or 5 days in bed. My sister Kathy knows. So it's very, it's a time when you really think, when you have somebody that you love that is dealing with something like this, and he's just turned 30 and newlywed. And I really got to thinking, what is of value in my life? And so that's my topic. So I ask you for a moment, what is it that you value? Today I'm going to go over a few things that I think most of us value. I recently watched a YouTube video, and a survey was conducted to a group of millennials. And they were asked the question, what is your most important life goals? The 2 top answers were 50% said fame, and 80% said fortune. I don't think we're surprised, are we? No. But then I asked my mother, who's 80, I said, Mom, what do you value? And she said, family. And I know if I asked my own siblings, I would get varied answers, but I'm certain that family, home, career, vacations, and a few scattered material things would be some of their answers. My sister Catherine is here, my sister Karen is here with us today, and I know their most precious, prized value is their relationships with their family and friends. The good news is, there are no wrong answers. We all have free will, and our values differ from one person to another, and also with people in other countries, and so the list goes on. But let me ask you, do you value your profession? Many people live to work versus work to live. Are you this person? Do you value the places you've traveled or lived? I have been fortunate to have experienced and visited some of God's most amazing earthly beauties. So let me ask you, do you value your possessions? I once, not too long ago, placed a huge value on my possessions. I even called them priceless. But after losing everything I owned, other than a few boxes recently, I no longer value those things. I don't value the labels and acquiring things I thought brought me so much happiness. Many people, myself included, have suffered greatly because I built a life on, according to what I thought was the American dream, what was normal, to gain fulfillment and happiness. I once thought things could bring me love, Well, we know that's not true. But Buddha was correct when he told us that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. We've all heard that many times. My search for the next and best brought me pain and so much suffering, but I didn't realize it. And need I remind us that Jesus warned us in Matthew 6:19-20 about collecting and stockpiling earthly treasures. He said, "Do not store up for yourself treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in." I know my own adult kids do not want to go through a house full of things after I take my last breath. My sister Kathy recently did that with our mother, and it was painful. So, do not store, let me say, perhaps what you and I value will not be the same as what the next generations will value, and that's what we learn going through our mother's things. Or even all of us have, as a collective consciousness breathing today, we do not know what will be determined a value or valueless in the future. Don't misunderstand me. Things that we have are nice to own. But when things begin to own us versus you owning them, well then I urge you to take a personal inventory of your own belongings and release those things that no longer are serving you. And speaking of kids, family, people, many of these relationships are truly priceless and they have reason to be. I'm talking about our loved ones, parents, grandparents, children, grandchildren, and friends that we've met in our community, in our church, our professions, volunteering, hobbies, the list goes on. And family, kids, people, yes, we do value them, absolutely. We love them. And I have a poem I'm going to read, and it's called Moments of Love, and this is just a few of the things that I love. Use the mic, I'm not used to holding a mic. And this is in one of my books. It's called Moments of Love. I know what love feels like when we hold one another, when I have shelter, babies are full, a longing to be with the divine is quiet within my soul. Warm bath on a chilly night in December, cold shower on a hot day in July. I know what love sounds like when I hear my child's voice, when I hear a kitten purr, a puppy curls up on my lap, church bells ringing at high noon, songs of praise, when I hear your sigh as you sleep beside me. I know what love smells like when we cook Sunday dinner, candles burning, when each newborn baby snuggled closer to my heart, cool winds blowing from the north, bringing fresh spring rain. I taste love when I kiss your lips, enjoy the meal you prepared for us, tears sliding across my upper lip, bearing a beloved. Wine and bread at communion, cake on wedding day. I see love when I look at you, when I look at myself in the mirror. I look towards the heavens. I open my eyes. I stretch my arms in gratitude. I see age is just a number, and time is fleeting faster and faster. Moments we love are priceless. Some of these moments are so valuable to us. How many of you can relate to this poem? Yeah, thought so. Up until now, I've talked about values of things other than relationships. I dabbed a little bit on it here and there. But most of the things that we value seem to be temporary pleasures. And yes, they can bring us heartache, but you know, we really enjoy them. The YouTube video I mentioned a minute ago has been researching the same group of men for 75 years. The question they were asked over these years was, what makes a good life? And the answer is that, which I agree, I think most of us would agree, that what makes us healthy and happy in life is not fame or fortune, but quality relationships. Happy, quality relationships gives us healthy bodies and healthy brains. not just, whoops, not just, I did something. Not just,
There was off light or
I
something.
think the battery might
maybe
have died.
died. Not just relationships, I'm not talking about partnerships, relationships, but they're included. But those things we have in common, whether we met them in church, community, hobbies, work, and those things I mentioned before. But relationships. The relationships we have on earth are eternal. The souls we love and who love us never die. They last forever. We value and cherish those that accept us for our misgivings. The good life, so to speak, is built on good quality relationships. Jesus said in Matthew 7:13, in everything, treat people the same way as you want to be treated. Lastly, I would like to discuss, talk about our purpose here on this earth, in this earth school, in this universe, about the promises and principles that I value and some of you may value too. This room here, this gathering we call unity, was built on devotion, prayer, faith, love, determination, spiritual teachings, and years of hard work that our founders, Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, manifested. And I quote, they realized that the traditional colonial Christian teachings were not psychologically healthy, scientifically sound, intellectually challenging, or spiritually satisfying. So they went to the higher source within themselves looking for answers. And Unity's foundation was built on these answers. And soon the word got out in their little town of Missouri, then the United States, then their teachings spread around to the world. It didn't happen overnight, but there was a new kid in town, that challenged Christian teachings of that time. Their philosophy, their teachings became part of the movement that now is referred to as New Thought. Now, over a century ago, this couple, full of questions, curiosity, wisdom, and tenacity, gave the world a new, positive, practical approach to Christianity. One that promotes a way of life that leads to health, prosperity, happiness, and peace of mind. And Unity is now home to millions all over the world. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, believed that humankind's purpose is to manifest the qualities of the Spirit fully. He wrote, I know there is a divine blueprint that contains the spiritual qualities needed to live a fulfilling life of joy, love, peace, abundance, and well-being. Unity's basic 5 principles, as well as the golden rules, the 10 commandments, Toltec, Tao teachings, and numerous sacred teachings point our souls to remember that we are eternal souls and there are universal laws that are in place for us to follow so that we can have a purposeful, valuable, and joyful life full of love and acceptance. This place we call Earth, the universe, is our temporary home. Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, including all those current spiritual teachers that have come to us various ways, are teaching us the same lesson, that our purpose here on earth simply is all wrapped up in that little fortune cookie, and you just got to take out that fortune, read it, it's going to give you some direction, and then remember to flip it over and play those numbers. All right, maybe not, but seriously, our relationship with the divine, a higher source, God, whatever you personally refer to that energy spark, that God light is sacred and eternal. And most important, the utmost valuable relationship that we have is with our own divinity. Ask yourself, what things in my life are temporary? What things in my life are eternal? What in my life is priceless? And what in my life is valueless? I hope when you leave here today that maybe on your way home you make a mental inventory of those possessions, places, professions, possessions, people, principles, and promises that you tie value to. And if after you do this thorough search, maybe some changes need to be made. The Course in Miracles says in Workbook Lesson 390, the peace of God is my one goal, the aim of all my living here, the end I seek, my purpose, my function, and my goal. again, is a piece of God, and that quality life, that quality relationship you have with the divine, yourself, and your family. And in closing, I will read one last poem from my book called The Reawakened Heart. And the quote I put on top of the book is, "To fall in love with God is the greatest romance. To seek Him, the greatest adventure. To find Him, the greatest human achievement." St. Augustine wrote that. The reawakened heart. I feel good at last. I remember who I am. Up from my tear-drenched soul, I crave to see rays from the sun. Oh, how I prayed to feel my skin dry. I thought myself had withered a will to die. New life sprung into my soul, reminding me there's always hope. To reawaken my heart to my oneness. Reassure me I am worth saving. That the meaning of reaching for brass rings is a realization, the knowingness, that I am a child of the Most High God. And no matter what was done to me, or what I did to sabotage myself, the past is forever gone. And today, a new day, another chance, a gift to live in the moment, this precious present moment, by breathing one breath at a time into my awakened self, because I deserve it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Not so fast. You have to stay there and get some comments from us.
Comments. Feedback.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about the title of your book, The Brass Rings.
Sure.
Is that about a merry-go-round?
Yeah, actually, I was in Houston when I wrote this, and Reaching for Brass Rings is the title because I found, and I've always been a searcher for many years, since I was 7. Kathy and I were in foster homes and had a traumatic childhood, should we say. And so I've always been a searcher, and I had my first spiritual experience when I was 7. And I knew then that everything I was looking for was really to be found within me. But we're always reaching outside ourselves, and it's here all along, all our times. We just have to look for it. And the other reason I wrote this is because Binghamton is home of all the carousels. And one of the poems in this book is the first time Kathy and I went from the foster home, went to Rec Park in a taxi. And it's very special. And I dedicate this, actually, one of the people is Michael Gott, the song that we're going to sing. But basically it's a raw, straightforward, truth-telling poetry journal, a one-woman search for meaning and life's purpose. So this is a collection of poetry since I was like 13. And it's pretty deep. But it's one of the things I value, you know, having those gifts to share with people.
I have not read it, but I assume that there are poems in there that might be hard to read.
Yes.
How do you put that to paper knowing that your children are going to read it?
Well, that was definitely a difficult, it took me, and I am writing a memoir, but the same thing, I don't want my kids to read it, because it's really painful, and every time I work on it, my sister knows, I end up really back in that place. But all my kids have a copy. One of them, 2 of them actually have read it and helped me edit it, my daughter. And the response is, I can't believe this really happened to you, all these terrible things. But you know, I think I'm here because they did happen to me, and it's my story, and you know, and I never gave up faith. So I just, you know, you take it or leave it. But I also realized that they're not my audience. My family, you know, my family has been very supportive actually. And I did ask permission because for 7 of us, one's passed, but they said go ahead, and some of the poems are dedicated to them. And I think it's helped heal our family actually. Don't you think, Kath?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I want to say that carousels hold a special place for me also. And when I was a little girl in New Jersey, they had a carousel, and that's one of my fondest memories. My parents taking us, and that you can go around and around
Right.
and be on this like fake horse or whatever it is, and it was like such a pleasure, and I still love it. So every year I have to go to the carousels, and I bring sometimes some friends, and I say, you have to go on these carousels. You know, you have to experience it, and that little inner child, you know, experience this again. And I don't know if any of them have the little brass ring still.
No, I did research.
You did research, they took away the brass
People are
ring.
like, what is that? I'm like, yeah. So,
Because
yeah.
I remember that at some carousels, the brass ring, and you try and reach out and get it.
And then you get the next ride for free. But this is
Oh, really? Oh, I
yeah.
don't remember that part.
The
Yeah.
greatest thing is that we live in County and they are free. And now I'm watching my granddaughter who loves the carousels. We can't get her off them.
And yeah, that's great.
So it's definitely, there's a magical experience, I think, with the carousels, for sure, and we're just so fortunate to be here. We all have enjoyed them, you know, that have grown up here. I was
Yeah,
gone for 31 years, but I came back. So now I'm visiting them all again.
And they are magical all over the world. So when I went to Austria, where I have an uncle in Vienna, and they have carousel there, but their carousels have real horses. They don't go for the fake horses. So they have a real horse that goes around, several real horses that go around, and you can sit on the horse, and it's, you know, especially for kids. But they go around and around, and they're under like a, whatever you call, like a pavilion, and I thought that was amazing. I said, wow, you mean you don't have fake ones, you have real ones? And they still do it, what they did like 200 years ago. You know, they still do it.
Yeah.
So I think, and I want to say that my most precious value is the peace within, peace with God, and that's my most precious possession, because without that, I can't enjoy anything else. So that's number one.
That's why I chose that first song. And I'm sitting over there and I couldn't stop crying because it just, for some reason, it really speaks to me. It's so beautiful because what else is there but everything. And the next song that we'll be singing, Move Direction of Your Dreams, is Michael Gott's. And when I first spoke at Unity in Houston, I made the joke that he didn't even know who I was. I've been listening to his music for 2 years and crying my heart out. And this is one of the ones that spoke to me because, you know, if we don't know what our dream is and we don't know what our values are, then we're leading this life and we're just hitting the walls. And so when you open yourself to divine and you look for those answers within, they do come rushing in.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yes, I'm wondering if in your lifelong search, whether you found any solace, can I say, in reincarnation.
I definitely believe in that. And I do have those moments of deja vu, and I'm very psychic. My friends call me the Good Witch in Houston, because Colorado Springs, because I always have this knowingness of something that's going to happen. It's kind of weird. My sister grew up with me, so yeah, definitely think that I don't place a lot of value as much. I think it's just like karma. I just now concentrate on what comes to me as far as my relationship now in the present. But I do think we're evolving spirits, and then when we pass on, and that's one thing that's helped me recently with going through so much stuff in the last couple of years. When I wrote this, I even talked about it in the beginning of the forward, how I thought everything was great and I was healed and everything was great. Oh my God. And guess what happened? Just when you think, you know, everything's great, something else comes in to challenge you, and another lesson like, oh, and Course in Miracles says, you know, that's another lesson to be healed. And, you know, our Unity founders, they didn't just give up, they kept going to prayer, and affirmations. So I think reincarnation is an important tool, for sure. Yeah. So I think I'm involved into this person now. Yeah.
I have something I'd like to share after we turn off the video.
And that's one reason I stayed here when I came back at Christmas to visit, is while my life had fallen apart, my sister's been there for me, and Karen's been there for me the last 10 months, and it's been amazing having that support. And then with my son, you know, not being well in Houston. So I think that, you know, those support people, those values, those relationships,
they are out there. Sometimes they're not near us in that close proximity, but they could be a phone call. Like this dress, I wear this because my best friend Virginia and Austin bought this for me for my birthday. And this, I actually watched my girlfriend Alicia, she owns a jewelry store, put this together. It took her like 8 hours. Like, why do you need 108 beads? I'm like, because it's important. I had to explain it to her. But, you know, the time that she put in this is valuable to me. And the thoughts behind the actions really mean everything. And so, you know, we just have to take a real deep inventory of our lives and figure out what is really valuable to us and get rid of the rest, because we're not taking it with us. What's that saying? The hearse with the trailer? You know, I was thinking about that because my mom, you know, we wanted her to lighten up and stop hoarding things, but no. So, you know.
I don't know that saying.
Oh, you don't know? There's a saying that when you die, you don't need the trailer behind the hearse because you're not taking anything with you to heaven or hell.
No, haven't heard that
Yeah.
one.
So I always
Yeah,
find that amusing, especially now in my life. Like, oh yeah, all this stuff I was keeping. I placed my own value, and now that I don't have it, I released it, and it's all been good. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the time here.
There is but one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. Okay, our first song is by Lauren Daigle. It's called Love Like This.
When I am a wasteland, you are the water. When I am the wind
was an open pavilion that a little dance was going on at the time. And 100 phones or more went off this morning. And everybody's, of course, very panicked and starts running down to this concrete brick building. My dog's over the camper. I'm not going to the building. So as I quickly walk back to the camper, I'm looking up at the sky and I just felt the presence of God and the Spirit of God speaking to my heart, saying that Jesus calmed the storm. Jesus said, greater things than this you will do. And I'm just like, okay, stepping out in faith. And I just looked up at the storm. And I just started calm. Clouds dissipate. Wind be still. And I just kept thinking this all the way back to the camper. And at one point, there was a blueness that just created in the sky as these clouds began to do some dissipation. And there was this big, long feather cloud that was right there. That was like writing this beautiful song on my heart. That we don't have to be afraid of things like the storm. We don't have to tell ourselves that these storms are God's will, because the weather is the weather. And we know that it rains on everyone, the good, the bad, the just, the unjust. It rains on everyone. The weather is just the weather. And we have so much power and control within our spirit if we control our fear and step out in our faith and our trust. And I've just been learning all week to share that with everyone.
Thank you. That was nice. The power of God working in your life. We can claim the power.
Good morning. I joyously express my divine nature. I experience happiness in many ways. A baby's first smile, the laughter of friends, or the beauty of a sunset. These things alone cannot make me happy. My happiness is a result of my attitude, my inner workings. I begin my day with a happiness treatment. I can affirm to myself, I am a joyous expression of God, and all that. I also can make my morning habit one of looking in the mirror to see the light of love looking back at me. Happiness begins within me and radiates from me to give the touch of love and warmth to the world. Even when I face challenging situations, I do not let it get the best of me. The best of me is within, the power and strength of God. I let my inner nature of happiness flow through me. I find peace in every situation. Let the faithful exist in glory. Let them sing for joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you want to close your eyes for this guided meditation, you're welcome to. Take a deep breath in and then release at your own pace. And continue to do this. And find your body becoming more and more relaxed with each breath. And if you find your mind wandering, let it go and let it come back. Just invite it back to your breath. And let it know it's okay for it to take some time off and relax. It doesn't have to keep thinking all the time. And in these moments, open yourself up to receive the light of God and let it move through you effortlessly. Remember that that light is with you at all times. It's just when you remember it, it becomes brighter. Take another deep breath in and release at your own pace. So it is. Today we have a special musical artist, Voodoo Highway. Is Dana. Dana and her husband Bob are going to perform this song for us. Enjoy the ride.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having us here. It's really a pleasure and a blessing to be among you. This is our song about finding the joy in life no matter what else is happening, and realizing that you have that choice and can make it happen. So I would like to invite you all to sing along in the chorus. The chorus is very simple. It's just enjoy the ride, enjoy the ride, enjoy the ride, enjoy the ride. So when you've heard me sing it once or however many times and you want to join in, that would be wonderful to have your voices joining ours if you're so inclined.
to look inside of you and take the time to realize what you are here to do. Don't you think the time has finally come to stand and face the fire, to walk into the blazing sun and claim your heart's desire? You were placed upon this earth with a mission to complete, and now the time has come, so stand up strong and claim your destiny. You must move in the direction of your dreams and act as if they've already come true. Even when there is no hope, or so it seems, move in the direction of your dreams. Do you think that you're not good enough to be a shining star? Or do you think because the road looks tough you won't get that far? Do you believe that only some are great and others left for chance? Or maybe that is just too late, a futile circumstance. You were placed upon the earth with a mission to complete, and now the time has come, so stand up strong and claim your destiny.